Hello and welcome to the Mapmakers Introduction Workshop. We're going to learn a lot about what you'll be learning in the next several workshops. This is sort of an introductory, and please reach out if you have any questions. This presentation is dedicated to the Ascension Mapmakers. The agenda today will be the space between an electric versus magnetic energy flow, integrating the unconscious, the human tapestry, the new chakra system for ascension, birth tapestry, and the incoming children, opening to the inner world, parallel worlds, unity-based language of light, ascension communities, releasing disease karma, and mindset development and self-development. The space between. The new map for ascension requires the space between the gridwork, chakras, and subtle bodies to be replaced with magnetic energy. It is often through the space between that there is attachment that must be released, and through such attachment, records, chi, gridwork, or information is moved from one party to another. The space between, when reduced to 25%, serves to hold your boundaries. As the space between becomes magnetic, your boundaries hold with ease, and you will not continue to lose information in each step of ascension. The space between is comprised of serpents. Now, these are language of light serpents or magnetic serpents. Serpents hold the space between, or the density that allows form to exist. This diagram is the space between reduced to 25% with the expanded field, of course, because as we ascend, that's what we're doing. We're expanding our field. Electrical versus magnetic energy. Electrical energy tends to run through the space between of the field rather than through the positive energy or serpents of the meridian system and chakras. It is for this reason that the space between must also be modified to become of a magnetic serpent and language. Then, as the space between and space without are each magnetic, they will cause electrical flow to bend back to the sender. As the electrical flow bends back to sender, this causes the magnetism of those of electrical nature to be less powerful than yourself, and as such you will cease to give of your dreams, chi, and information, along with moving energy or grid work unto another. This is how ascending initiates are also building into a more powerful magnetism and thought form than those of an electrical nature. Integrating the unconscious. Our minds are sort of like an iceberg, aren't they? With the unconscious mind being at the deepest levels, and the conscious mind being a very small portion of what we normally utilize. For human form, those who are ascending, also known as the Ascension Mapmakers, must become familiar with their own unconscious. It is human nature to reject the unconscious, project it upon another, or try to sweep it under the carpet, so to speak. Although this may have worked up until this time in history, such avoidance of the unconscious shall no longer work in the human dance. Why does the avoidance of the unconscious no longer work in the human dance? Great question. Because Earth is integrating her unconscious. As Earth integrates her unconscious, this brings the unconscious to consciousness for all species therein. Most species are integrating their own related unconscious at a pace that serves Earth's overall vibration. The only species not striving in mass to also integrate the unconscious is the human species. Humanity has fallen so low in consciousness that they no longer retain awareness of the non-physical realms. Those ascending in human form, the ascending mapmakers, will therefore have to open to their unconscious and begin to relate to the non-physical realities that surround themselves. The unconscious is an inward experience. The unconscious holds positive and negative non-physical realities. The negative realities are often filled with pieces of self that fractured off in loneliness, anger, fear, pain, or heartache. Soul retrieval and soul integration. As each negative part of self is retrieved, the unconscious reality associated is integrated, and one gradually transcends pain, anger, and fear as the foundation of vibrations that you sit within. As each part of self is integrated, you become more whole from within, which is a joyous experience. Each of you may find your lost dreams within your unconscious as you begin to integrate your unconscious and call back your lost dreams in ascension. Release the ancestral karma. Only in seeing the unconscious may you then release the ancestral karma that has come to roost so that it does not manifest in the physical. Many in human form may find themselves in great travesties in the years ahead. Such travesties are the unconscious patterns becoming physical. Global travesties avoided. There shall be other travesties avoided upon a global scale in the years ahead through similar precautions taken upon the part of Earth and upon the part of all species therein. As it is for Earth, so it is for the human form. If humans choose to ascend and release the patterns through conscious intent, travesties can be avoided. It is for this reason that Earth addressed warfare karma in the year 2019 in order to avoid a nuclear war in the years ahead by releasing her global karma. The human tapestry. At this time, all humans weave a tapestry that is energetic in nature. The tapestry is layered in a circular manner that surrounds Earth. Upon the bottom layer are tones weaving a tapestry that are black, gray, brown, mucus green, and mucus yellow in color. Such tones are related to death, fear, pain, suffering, greed, lust, and judgment. Those associated with this bottom layer also represent the old consensus destined for cleansing through death. Some are rapidly ascending out of the bottom layer and entering the next layer of tapestry above, which is the third consensus and primary tones in color. The black and gray tones are currently being cleansed from Earth as the planes associated with death and fear are risen above in Earth's global ascent. The cleansing ahead. Those most deeply associated with the bottommost part of the tapestry and the black and gray tones may perish in the coming 2 years as a result. Such folk may also be in great pain due to disease or aging, and therefore such deaths may be a great blessing, allowing such souls and consciousness to move into a non-physical dance that is more joyous. In the coming decade and cycle of cleansing, the bottommost tier will cease to exist altogether, and this is how earth shall rise above the vibrations of death, fear, greed, suffering, pain, judgment, and lust altogether. Pod-based energy flow, figure 8, and flower of life. There are two types of pod-based flow that Terra is orchestrating for humanity. Those mastering this flow are generally from 1800 to 3000 segments in vibration. When we talk about segments, what we're discussing here is vibration. So the higher the segments, the higher the vibration. And this is being orchestrated as we ascend. Our vibrations are raising or rising, becoming quicker and lighter, as a matter of fact. As this flow is mastered, the entire field of space between and space without spins in the same patterning. This leaves no non-moving energy flow. The first flow is a figure 8 based and looks like a lotus or flower when spinning. So this diagram shows the lotuses in ascension. The crown lotus or soul hologram develops at 2800 segments. The heart lotus or human hologram develops at 2600 segments. And the pelvic lotus or ancestral hologram develops at 3000 segments. Lineages to the red race. We're going to be talking a lot more about the red race as we get into these workshops. There is an original red-seeded race that was seeded here on Earth very, very long time ago by the Syrians from Sirius. And again, we'll talk much more about that. Ultimately, whether you are red, brown, white, or yellow in this lifetime, those ascending have lineages to the red race. It is the red race that is magnetic, and these are the ancestors that each can draw forward into present time and ascend into parallel genetic self, which shall lead to greater harmony within and without through pod tribe-based energy flow. The second pod-based energy flow is the flower of life pattern. Here is an example of the lotus of perpetual life. Here is a language of light, flower of life. And this image shows the flower of life energy flow and also the beehive energy flow, which is what we are raising our vibration into. You notice the difference here. As the communities start to form, the ascension communities, the beehive energy flow will increase. The new chakra system for ascension. At 1024 DNA segments, 3 layers of spheres begin to form. This is the new chakra system image at initiation 1800. If you notice the 3 layers here, the consciousness layer is formed at initiation 108. The subconscious is formed at initiation 580. The unconscious is formed at initiation 1024. We can also see that each of the petals of the flower represent something a little different. One petal represents feminine or spirit. The other petal represents masculine or matter. And the third petal represents divine union. This is the new chakra system at initiation 1800. During ascension, it's very important that we understand what's going on with our energetic system, our chakras, our body. And each of these sections explain clearly what's happening. The new chakras that were formerly a multi-petaled lotus in the ascent to 1800 become triple sphere in the ascent to 3000 DNA segments. Formation of the subtle bodies at 1800 to 3000 DNA segments. This is an example of what the chi energy movement looks like. This is showing the digestive system. This also shows the subtle bodies, the emotional, mental, intuitive, and creative bodies. Also the triple sphere light body. This shows that the genetic gridwork sits closest to the skin of the etheric body. And the ascension gridwork sits between the genetic gridwork and the emotional body. This is Kundalini and sexual energy movement. If you notice at the bottom of this image, it says fire from the aurora of Earth. We can intend to pull up the fire from our aurora to help us move our Kundalini energy if we so choose. These are the chakras and subtle bodies to Bodhisattva level of evolution. Regenerative chakras. By 3000 segments of initiation, there are 9 regenerative chakras in the front and 9 regenerative chakras in the back. The upper chakras are connected to one's source and oversoul. The grounding chakras are connected to the aurora of Earth. Here is a worksheet on the development of the regeneration chakras, some attentions and questions to ask yourself. Hope for a new Earth dream. The dawning of the new era. Consciousness does not cease upon death, nor does it cease in extinction. It is never too late to learn the spiritual lessons that you failed to learn at the time you were alive. In other words, the soul lives on. Those ascending into the new ascension tapestry rise enough above the vibration of death to live through this coming period of cleansing and see the dawning of the new era ahead. At this time, it is anticipated that this tier shall be filled with roughly 6 billion humans, 1.5 billion of which will ascend onto the next tapestry and tiers. The lives of such folk sitting in primary tones have transcended extreme polarity, and therefore will be more joyous than those sitting in the vibrations of the old consensus. Many of these humans will ascend no further but spawn offspring who do. Embracing magnetic molecular rotation. When embracing magnetic energy flow, you may make an intention to remove any foreign gridwork from other kingdoms and then reweave your energy field with your own gridwork. This will assure a more complete ascension in this lifetime. Ascending the molecular structure is another focus that will assist you in building chi to foster a more rapid pace of ascent and to spin up the molecular structure. As we focus upon increasing the spin of the molecules, we can also focus upon embracing magnetic molecular rotation. As you can see, ascension is really about intention. What we intend, we create. In order to sustain a magnetic flow in both the space between and space without, all parts of the biology must ascend into magnetic salts and minerals. Magnetic salts and minerals is what the crystalline DNA is comprised of. The crystalline DNA is the ascension DNA that the Mapmakers are ascending into. How is this accomplished? Great question. Through intention. Through intention, your ancient ancestry that once held biology, that hosted magnetic salts and minerals, is brought forward into present time. As the information from your ancient ancestry is brought forward for the magnetic salts and minerals, the photonic energy now prevalent due to the presence of the great central sun dream upon Earth as a result of ascension will cause the DNA to mutate into the new crystalline structure. As you ascend, you move to a crystalline cellular structure that ceases to decay or die. As cells cease to die in the act of ascension, you cease to be in fear of death, and fear evaporates into a new way of being that is founded upon joy. Such is the gift of ascension, and those that choose such a path will live to experience such a state beyond all fear in the years ahead. The will centers. Inside the middle of the subconscious layer of each of the 7 major chakra centers is another triple lotus sphere pattern called the will center. The will centers are roughly 1/3 the size of the other chakras. The will centers begin to be constructed after initiation 2200 as the chakras become triple sphere in nature. The 12 chakra system initiation at 4200 to 6000 DNA segments. The light body, body double. The light body, body double is the fourth dimensional vessel that is created during ascension. The light body, body double is an exact duplicate of your current embodiment, but at a higher vibration. You will ascend into your fourth dimensional light body, body double if you choose to transfigure during your ascension process. During ascension, at first the molecules in your light body continue to hold the rotational solar system type patterning. However, after about 1800 DNA segments, the molecules in your light body begin to convert to a triple sphere movement, which generates more chi, yet allows for continued resurrection and ascension of the form. The light body also changes shape from a multifaceted Merkaba to a triple sphere shape as initiation 2000 is mastered. The chakras of the light body, the global chakras associated with one's field. This is what the global chakra system looks like at initiation 1800. This is the global chakra system at initiation 3000. It is the light body consciousness that maintains the global size chakras. Sometimes you may become aware of a shattering of your global chakras. If this is the case, you can report the problem to a healing temple known as the Temple of Light Body. This image to the right is the healing temples for ascension that are available to any ascending initiates. These temples are located in the aurora of Earth, and with intention during meditation or just before going to sleep, you can intend to go to these temples, any one of your choice, and receive a healing. This poster is available on my website for free download if it's something that you want to print out or to keep and have. Due to the misuse of light body travel amongst ascending initiates, the light body movement has been restricted in recent months to the bare minimum required to ascend, and special escorts are required to disengage from the etheric vessel. It is the light body that generates photonic energy emanating from the great central sun and utilizes such energy to rotate the larger chakras that sustain one's global auric field. Sacred geometry and figure-8 flow. Ultimately, it is non-movement of energy that causes diseases. Pyramidal flow in our experience leads to disease as the base does not rotate or spin. The sticky, non-moving energy of pyramidal flow causes stagnation of energy through the meridians of the biology, leading to disease. Figure-8 flow will allow for continued movement, although it is still electromagnetic in nature. This is what figure-8 sacred geometry looks like. Current Native American root race, triple lotus sacred geometry of ancient red root races, and the current Dara's triple lotus, also the consciousness symbol in the language of light. We'll be discussing the language of light in much greater detail throughout these workshops. Partnerships mirror the lessons of spirit. Partnerships are predestined at birth. The beliefs surrounding union are an antidote of the lore of union fostered at birth. The union lore fostered at birth attracts the incoming spirit to the child of the parents that foster parallel lore of partnership later in life. Partnerships mirror the lessons of spirit as spirit incarnates into matter. Birth tapestry and the incoming children. Beliefs are sustained in the DNA of the birth tapestry that the incoming children draw upon to construct the biology in the womb. Partnerships are the main lessons of childhood, teenage, and adulthood. Partnership is the main lesson of childhood, teenage years, and often adulthood years in most lives. Partnership fosters lessons of love and hate, truth and lies, friendship and enemies, and care or non care of self. Opening to the inner world. How do we open to our inner world? You intend to do so. The inner world is a parallel world. You may also invite your ancestors that understood conscious dreaming to enter your field and teach you to open to the inner world. If you are choosing to ascend, you will want to intend to retrieve the information regarding conscious dreaming from your ancestors. Parallel worlds surrounding Earth. Parallel worlds exist in layers like an onion surrounding Earth. Each layer will present a different reality and experience occurring concurrent to the physical reality that you attune to in your day-to-day life. Any dream you cannot manifest in the physical is splintered off and manifests in a parallel reality. We'll talk more about parallel realities and parallel lives in the upcoming workshops. Concurrent lives will provide you with an understanding of the fullness of dream that you have the possibility of manifesting due to your genetics and birth hologram. Perhaps as you attune to the parallel realities, you may wish to bring the dream playing out upon another plane into the physical. This is a possibility in ascension, as one may reverse polarize the dream from one plane onto the physical plane through one's conscious free will choice. Each human who intends to ascend receives a new holographic script for ascension. The script for ascension will be unique unto each human and one's personal life circumstances. These are the spiritual lessons that we are learning about and ascending through. The new holographic script calls for a raise in vibration through genetic modifications to the form, the photonic energy, or light, flowing from the great central sun, which triggers the growth of new DNA without your awareness. The intent to ascend will have the effect of gathering more photonic energy towards yourself, increasing the pace of ascension through your own free will choice to evolve. Soul infusion into photonic biology. What is photonic biology? Photonic genealogy is a form of biology that does not subsist from sugar, but rather from a light that is encompassed by all the cells that energizes the form, like a battery. Over time, the photonic light emanates from the inside out, and you begin to look quite ethereal, as those in the third dimension will see right through you as you near completion of your ascent to the fourth dimension. Soul infusion. Soul infusion leads to self-sustaining biology or photonic biology. Photonic self-sustaining biology does not require the need to eat, as everything is contained within. Each system within the form has the capacity to repair and retain its health and continued ascension, as all nutrients are contained within. Or in other terms, the waste from one gland, organ, or system provides the nutrients for another gland, organ, or system. Furthermore, as one soul infuses, one ceases to operate upon blood sugar in one's cellular metabolism, but instead relies upon photonic energy in its place. Photonic energy is collected in the cellular structure and, much like a battery, provides the chi required to subsist without the requirement to consume anything. The language of one is a photonic language. The language of one is a photonic language. Photonic language is not primary or pastel in color, but gold and silver. Photonic energy is sustained in a divine union or twin partnership. Asarana's energy and field spins in one direction and manner, and purrs in another in a divine dance union. Asarana and Purr are a twin flame, divine partnership. They are working with us for the ascension of all humankind that can do so. Thank you, Asarana and Purr. Gold is feminine and silver is masculine in nature. Gold and silver are not polarized to an extreme, but rather exists in an opposing dance or movement from one another founded upon unity. This is an image showing male energy and female energy and what that looks like. If you notice at the bottom, the masculine vibrations are one octave lower than feminine tones, and feminine vibrations are one octave higher than masculine tones. The gold and silver movement allows for a new level of unity and another form of polarity to become expressed beyond the language of light. Such unity knows not destruction at one end of the polarity. Instead, there is only the possibility of ascension and evolution in gold and silver polarity. Holographic flow. Those who are ascending are embracing holographic flow at this time in preparation for entry into the dream of the great central sun. How does one align with holographic flow? To align with holographic flow, one must attain a state of full consciousness or 36,000 segments of DNA in one's own personal ascent. Most adults are limited to the ascension of 3,000 segments at this time. Holographic flow is not only rotational, but also whole and complete. Holographic flow has a propensity to gather up what has been lost over all experiences in time, space, and form, and repel that which does not belong unto the whole. Many of the incoming children are being born with very high vibrations, and they will attain holographic energy and rotational flow. Mastering holographic flow together in community. How are you going to master holographic flow given the complexity? Well, there is a solution, but it requires many humans to come together in community and weave a collaborative energy flow together that allows for a holographic whole to be represented through many human counterparts. In pulling together through community, the community will create a whole that can embrace holographic flow together and without the individuals of the community becoming ill. So, in other words, when we come together in an ascending community, we're less likely to become ill as individuals. What will it take to create a community that can withstand holographic flow? Creating a sustainable community that can withstand holographic flow has to do with the number of holograms upon the holographic wheel at this time. At this time, there are 38 human holograms. Therefore, to create a whole with all parts represented, a minimum of 38 humans would be required at 2 segments of DNA to form an ascending community. However, if one or more of the community members have ascended to 3,000 segments of DNA, the ascending community is less likely to go into dissonance. So in other words, the higher the vibration of each community member, the higher the vibration of the community. Beautiful. One may have integrated ancestries from 4 to 7 varying holographic natures. As a result of this, a group of 10 or less may gather and have all holograms represented at 3,000 segments. However, this would require specific individuals who together represent all 38 possibilities in the current human holographic planes. Unity-based language of light. For those who are ascending at this time, one exists increasingly in unity-based language of light, and as such, the language of light becomes global thought form again. As this occurs, then unity-based thought form is restored for humanity and earth alike, and holographic flow returns. Genetic and ascension grid work. You have an etheric body, which is an energetic duplicate of your form. For every cell that you have in the physical, there is an etheric cellular structure that is also associated. In ascension, first the etheric cell is modified to a new genetic blueprint that is known as the crystalline form, and then the physical goes through a parallel process of transmutation. The genetic grid work sits closest to the skin, as we saw in the previous image. Outside of the etheric skin sits 2 layers of grid work. One is the genetic grid work, which sits closest to the skin. The genetic grid work holds the current genetic information that your etheric cellular structure, along with physicality, is created from. Ascension grid work. Outside of the genetic gridwork is a second set of gridwork that is known as the ascension gridwork. The ascension gridwork allows for genetic modifications that you are gathering from your ancestry to be added to your ascension template. As new genetic additions are made, it takes only 1 to 3 days for the new information to step into the genetic gridwork, after which it is relayed down pathways known as your ley lines of gridwork to the associated etheric cells. Ley lines of etheric gridwork are composed of molecules that line up in a horizontal or vertical pathway. During ascension, molecules rotate along each ley line, and as they rotate, they create a centrifugal force through which information is pulled down the pathway to the interior of the etheric body. As the new information reaches the etheric cells from the ascension gridwork, they begin to modify themselves, bringing in the necessary attributes to reconstruct themselves founded upon the new encoding. If you notice in this diagram at the bottom, it says, information which is no longer required as the new information is integrated is grounded out the field to the aurora of Earth. So with intention, anything that you want to remove from your field, you simply ground it to the aurora of Earth. Releasing disease karma. Now the collective of humanity will begin to release their karma for disease in all the many ways that such a state of being has come to be. In order to aid in igniting the choice of humanity to release disease patterns, the map carvers or map makers shall focus upon disease karma due to the fission and incomplete ascensions in the years ahead. It may take humans in the collective as many years to release their disease karma as it took to release warfare karma, which required 6 years of focus. However, time is speeding up, and it may be that disease karma is completed upon in the coming 3 to 4 years ahead instead. In terms of global ascension and upon successful release of fission karma in 2025, there will no longer be any fission-based threads to cause either nuclear annihilation or another false ascension leading to combustion amongst the inner earth humans or dolphins and whales. This goal requires addressing fission karma, as it is ultimately fission that propelled all suns down the dimensions outside of the great central sun dream. Fission is the result of foreign fire elements that arrived upon Earth as humans or other species from creations that left other great central suns. Therefore, there is no fission inside the great central sun's dream, as no creation traveled between suns. Only in the region outside of the great central sun has fission occurred. As foreign fire became prevalent upon Terra, Terra is the name of Earth as a 25th dimensional vessel, the fire element began to combust her aurora. As the aurora combusted, so did the molecules of all living things upon Terra, and the net result was an early fall in consciousness that may have not been noticeable in the beginning. The fall, however, set up a battle between variant thought form and fire elements from variant creations. What will occur as humans complete with disease karma? Great question. As humans complete with disease karma, the earth dream will alter to allow for a dance in which each learns to take care of their own physical needs. And in turn, the collective of humans shall begin to learn how to help take care of Earth's needs as well. We as humans cannot give to Earth what we as a species have failed to give to ourselves. This is why it's so important for us to move out of codependency and start to focus on our own health, healing, and ascension work. First, humans must tend to themselves individually and collectively, giving unto themselves what is required to create and sustain health. And then the collective will begin to give to Earth what she requires to self heal through ascension and restore her global health. Terra is reversing the cycle of extension. Excuse me, extinction. Terra is reversing the cycle of extinction. Terra is headed down a cycle of extinction. However, she is reversing the cycle of extinction through causing an ascension cycle instead. Humans who find themselves diseased ahead can turn around their own dream for death by choosing to ascend out of their own disease in parallel. As more humans choose ascension over death, the movement of collective human ascension shall be born. Already, the ascension to 1800 segments is beginning to take off in many regions and amongst the collective populations of more rural towns all around the globe. Now, this is an example of how we as humans are helping Earth in her ascension. As we ascend, it helps her. As she ascends, it helps us. Ascension levels of development. This is an image of the first 10 language of light glyphs. Language of light glyphs are a focus that we will be taking on during our ascension workshops, our Mapmaker workshops. We focus on each tone and vibration and color. Ascension levels of development are shared mastery consciousness thresholds founded upon vibration. Vibration helps one work through principles of forgiveness, empowerment, compassion, integrity, unity, honor, and the fostering of truth within. Each octave of mastery hosts a color, principle, herb, and mineral. These notions are to be balanced to the middle polarity of self and are measured by the Tao of Earth through time. We'll have lots of handouts on the language of light, herbs and minerals, lots and lots of information coming. Ascension brings an end to polarity swings as one finds the middle road, which is one's soul's purpose. This is the light earth dream or the light dream. These are primary tones of the language of light. Your personal 0 point. Your personal 0 point lies within the sun of your own personal aurora between the feet of your subtle body. I'm going to read that one more time. Your personal 0 point lies within the sun of your own personal aurora beneath the feet of your subtle body. At this time during our ascension, the sun of self is at the feet, and the full spectrum of language of light tones are down there as well. All rays for the small and large transfusion body and transfusion gates arise out of your personal sun. The sun should reside beneath your feet if the 0 point is aligned. Synergizing with your 0 point allows the sun of your aurora to motion beneath you and not somewhere else. So, in other words, we want to keep that below our feet and within our own energy field. Sometimes we tend to give our power away and also our 0 point away to other entities, other people, interactions with others, sometimes even our pets. 0 point and no time. The 0 point is a no time experience. There is no time associated with light. Light can be expressed in the past, present, and future. It is important to understand that as you synergize with the 0 point, you enter no time and can forgive and heal any traumatic experience through time. Mindset development and self-development. A flowing of heart and mind. Mindset development will foster another level of understanding of the life dance above the ascension module of thought stream. Mindset development allows for a flowering of the heart and mind, triggering deeper compassion to be fostered within. Transfusion lore of self. We'll talk lots more about transfusion. The authentic self. The authentic self fails to seduce, but instead delights in sequences of dreams that foray a highlighted circumstance in the essence of spirit, desiring to dance with the physical. Spirit is an accolade of expression that cascades down the dimensions through light wave mindset derivatives of thought form. Spirit expresses in unison. Spirit expresses in unison with self in the array of foresight of what is desired to be communicated through time. Spirit always has something unusual to communicate or has grasped, as spirit is desiring the experience, to experience the exchange with the physical in an array of delightful circumstance that educate and highlight the truth of any given circumstance. Spirit is a formation of soul-driven existence that preceded the era of non-enlightenment of humankind. The era of non-enlightenment was an eclipse of a nuclear disaster following Atlantis history. Atlantis was a mesmerizing civilization of many poets and other resources of entertainment that was spirit-directed. At this time, only a few humans of any stature of derivative of hope are spirit-driven, as spirit eclipsed in the nuclear waste of the past. Spirit today is attempting to foray into the system through the development of light wave mindset and the evolutionary sequences of dreaming for key archetypal natures incarnate in present time. Self-development and transfusion lore. Self-development is a special sequence of dream that allows another level of mastery to unfold. Those in light synthesis foster self-development that causes dreams of union and unity in twin and counterpart lore of self to be experienced. Relationships become sustainable actions in which those gathering together cause superlative function of self in relation to one another. Sustainable dreaming accolades of self. Superlative function of self is a postulation of collaborative functions of life. Collaborative functions cause those who gather to support and sustain one another, and the whole in sustainable, dreaming accolades of self. Self-sustainable dreaming causes the destiny of the one or the group to foster dreams that provide for the whole. Sustainable dreaming shall be restored as an earth function of self in about 200 years. Those developing light synthesis in a sustainable dream function are the prelude to a new age of earth. Sustainable dreaming is not necessarily a function of self unless light synthesis begins to unfold. Balancing male and female precepts. All mastery involves balancing the male and female precepts of life to foster unity within, regardless of stature of development. Self-development for light synthesis requires mindset development into superlative nodes and relays of self that foster cherry formations in the synapse function of self. Cherry formations are not always easy to develop unless proper nutrients are available to sustain the biological sequences of development. Half-cherry formations foster light synthesis self-development in mindset of Oska, Aliska, Moska, and Neska. Vispa and Vespa require full cherry formations to foster in transfusion lore of self comprehension. We will learn more about mindset development and self-development in the workshops to come. What we learned about today, the space between an etheric versus magnetic energy flow, integrating the unconscious, the human tapestry, the new chakra system for ascension, birth tapestry and the incoming children, opening to the inner world, parallel worlds, unity-based language of light, ascension communities, releasing disease karma, and mindset development and self-development. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to working with you soon.